Hi, welcome to our graduate apprenticeship chat. We are today going to be talking about specifically our graduate apprenticeship in civil engineering. And we have Sean and Alanah here with us, who are current graduate apprentices on this course. And we're going to be asking them a few questions today about their experiences at Napier in the workplace and basically all things graduate apprenticeship related. To get started, for those of you that are not familiar with graduate apprenticeships, they are paid work-based degree level apprenticeships to honours level. They last either 3 or 4 years, depending on what year you enter. They are fully funded degree level apprenticeships, so there are no course fees for any apprentices or for any employers. And the qualification you get at the end is exactly the same as if you had studied the same subject area full-time. So to get started, I think we'll maybe start with you, Alanah. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your role?
So obviously I'm Alanah. I work for Amy Consultancy. I'm a trainee technician and I joined the GA programme straight out of high school. So finished S6 in 2019, joined the company that August and yeah, that's basically it.
And so who are you doing your apprenticeship with again, Alanah?
Amy Consultancy.
With Amy. And
yeah.
So you joined straight from school after doing your hires?
No, I stayed on until 6th year, so I had a couple of advanced hires as well.
Perfect. And Sean, you want to tell us maybe a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Hi, my name's Sean. I'm a senior technician at Blythe and Blythe. I'm in the 3rd year of the civil engineering degree. I've been working as a technician now for 15 years within civil and structural design consultants, and joining the GA was a way for me to upskill and continue my career progression.
Perfect. Sean, how did you first find out about graduate apprenticeships at Edinburgh Napier University?
Well, my colleague was actually doing the part-time course,
Okay.
and he put me in touch with Kenny. So Kenny is our course leader now. And he told me all about the graduate apprenticeship because that was going to be the 1st year running, and it totally fitted the box. So it was a no-brainer, and I went for it. So that's how I got on there.
Perfect. And Alanah, how did you first find out about graduate apprenticeship courses, in particularly civil engineering?
When I applied for the job.
When you applied for the job?
Because it was in partnership with the company. So as I was applying, it was guaranteed I was going to get a degree at the same time.
Perfect. And did you consider doing other routes? Did you ever consider going to university full-time, or did you always kind of want to do an apprenticeship route to get a degree?
I did consider going to uni. I did have an unconditional and a couple of conditionals as I was leaving for mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. Basically, family situation changed a little bit and it just wasn't looking financially viable.
Perfect.
So basically, it was one of my high school teachers. He did a graduate apprenticeship with BAE Systems, and he just highly recommended it. He said it was one of the best decisions he's ever made. So I just started applying for jobs, and here I am.
Perfect. And so could you maybe tell us a little bit about your day-to-day job role? Obviously now you've been in that role for more than a year now, so could you give us a kind of overview of what you get up to day to day?
Yeah, it just depends on what project I'm on. So at the moment I'm doing a lot of cycle schemes, so it's quite a quick turnaround for production of drawings and appraisal tables. So, but most of the time I'm on CAD, computer-aided design, and I'm just sitting there doing the production of drawings for the client. Not really.
And Sean, what about your day-to-day job role? Has it changed much since you started the apprenticeship, or is it really pretty much remained the same?
It's mostly remained the same. So on a day-to-day basis, I mainly work on building structures. I sometimes get involved in a little bit of roads and drainage as well. So I'll work closely with design engineers, and what I'll do is I'll create Revit models, and Revit is software that is used to create 3D models for buildings. And then I'll use those models to produce drawings that will be passed on to contractors, and they'll be used to actually build the project. From time to time, I'll attend site visits and meetings as well.
Perfect. And can you tell us a little bit about the structure of your university course? How often are you in university?
So I'm in university day release. So I'm there once a week, and that runs from September until around May. And then there's a work-based learning aspect in the summer as well, which actually counts towards part of the course where you do a project at your work. So.
And are you basing this on live projects at your work?
Yes. Last year it was well, it got cancelled last year because of COVID, but the year before it was in a live project at work, and that's been built now.
Perfect. And what do you see? We'll go back to you, Alanah. What do you see as the main benefits of studying a graduate apprenticeship and getting a degree through this way of learning?
Well, for me personally, it's having the theory that goes with what I do at work, because obviously learning, for me personally, just with coming straight out of high school, didn't have much of a background. So I learn as I go. So I get told, go look at these standards and build a psychopath. So it's having that theory that goes with it. And I'm actually starting to understand what I'm doing a wee bit. So that's quite good.
Perfect. And Sean, what would you say the main benefits are to studying this way to you and also to your employer? Would be quite interesting.
Yeah, I can actually second what Alanah said there about actually understanding what you're drawing. It's gave me a greater understanding of engineers' designs and actually what I'm drawing, and I'm able to actually offer better solutions and identify mistakes as well, which is good. But at the same time as studying, I get to gain industry experience. I'm surrounded by industry professionals as well, which is good. Another benefit is it advances your career a lot quicker than if you were to do it as a full-time student, and you get paid as well, and you don't have to take any student loans or anything like that. So
perfect. And I'd be quite interested actually again for you, Sean. So you had been out of education for a while before you started again studying at Napier University. What have you found in your experience to be the most challenging thing about your apprenticeship, whether that be work or university?
I would say the most challenging thing is your time management, because it is quite an intense course. So you do have to be aware of that you do need to do some evening work and some weekend work. Not all the time, but as you progress to the end of modules where you have exams and coursework, it does get quite intense. So managing your time between work and university is key. You can't leave things to the last minute and kind
you have to be very structured.
Yes.
And Alanah, what have you found to be perhaps the most challenging thing since you started your graduate apprenticeship?
I agree with Sean, just having that work-time balance between the two, with work and uni, and having time for yourself as well to relax and enjoy a weekend. Because obviously this is second year for me, so second time sitting exams, and it does start to eat away some of your time sometimes, just with reports and tests and then your final exam.
And if you've faced any challenges on the course, what we'll ask you again, Sean, this one, what support has Edinburgh Napier University provided you when you've been faced with challenges in terms of university work?
Well, the staff at Napier, they're always contactable. You can always get them over the phone, email, or when you're actually in the university, you can drop by their office anytime. There was in maths in the first year, there was a lot of people were struggling, so they introduced, I think it was about fourth year students who were doing a civil engineering degree, and they came into the class and they actually helped the students in the class with the maths. So that was another way that they helped us, and so they are very flexible as well. So you just need to speak to them and they help you.
And Alanah, have you found that you've got any extra additional support from the university when you've been faced with challenges?
Well, I definitely feel like I've got the support, especially from like Kenny and Plan. They're always an email away, and it's always really good. I think before Christmas we had 2 exams, and one was on the Tuesday and one was on the Thursday, and it's like that's not possible, not with our workload currently, because COVID thing, everyone's trying to spend money. So we managed to get it rejigged a little bit, and it saved so much stress and worry.
Yes, I think we are really reactive to obviously the challenges of the apprentices face while working full-time as well. Yeah. Now, this has obviously been a bit of an unusual year. It's a year today that we've now been in different periods of lockdowns. How have you felt that you've adjusted to learning online, mainly online, for the past year? Sean, we'll start with you.
I feel like I've adjusted quite well. I think it has helped because because I'm working and I've been at home now for a year, it's been easy to adjust for university as well. In Napier, we're pretty quick to implement the online learning. So all the lectures are set up, they're all recorded, all the content is available online. And when you're getting your live lectures, you can ask any questions or you can stay behind and ask questions. So I feel like it's worked out quite well. You do miss the sociable aspect with your classmates as well. So there is some things missing, but in the whole, it's been okay. I think a mix between the both, getting back in and some online learning would be good. It saved me a lot of travelling, which has been a benefit for me. I travel a long way to get to Edinburgh, so that's a plus. So yeah, maybe a blended approach in the future would be great.
And Alanah, how have you adapted? So you were in university for, I guess, half of first year before the first lockdown was in place, and now you've been online since then. How have you found the two different experiences?
I think I struggled a little bit because it was quite a jump between the two, just because obviously it was like I was on annual leave when we all got the emails coming in saying that's it, you've got an automatic pass, blah, blah, blah. And coming back from work as well, I'm starting to work from home. So it was quite hard to balance between the two. But I definitely do miss the social aspect of meeting up with friends from your class and then helping one another. But I suppose we've counteracted that with just having Teams calls.
Yeah.
When we need help. But yeah, no, definitely a blended approach.
And I've got another question for you, Sean. So in what ways would you say that you've developed your industry knowledge and skills since starting the graduate apprenticeship compared to previously being at university?
I think we kind of discussed this earlier a wee bit. I've got a greater understanding now of how engineers' designs work and how they're put together. So when I'm actually doing my drawings, it helps me a lot now. And as I said before, I'm able to offer solutions. And that doesn't just go for my advantage for my work. Actually, I get advantages from my work taken to university as well, where there's things that will pop up in courses that I've already seen at my work. I'm not just seeing it for the first time, whereas if you're doing it as a full-time student, it might be the first time you've seen it and you've no idea what it is. But I've already got that industry experience, or that I already know what it is, so it gives me a bit of an advantage. So I would say they both supplement each other really well.
Yeah, I think what we often say is that graduate apprentices often bring as much to the class as they can take from it, because you are in classes with people that are all within industry and that huge shared pool of knowledge. Do you feel that's been beneficial to your learning?
Yeah, it definitely has, and it's been good for the lecturers as well to hear from us, because we're working on live projects. It gives them for a feel for what we're actually doing, and if they need to maybe change some of the content of the course as well to maybe update it to align with the industry. So I think that the university is actually gaining from it as well. So no,
that's certainly what we hear as well. Yeah. And Alanah, how, because you've obviously were brand new into the industry coming straight from school, how have you how have you felt that you've developed your industry knowledge and skills? I guess immensely, because you're taking the job.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was quite a quick learning curve, as they would say, for the first year. But no, definitely having the theory that backs up what you're doing and starting to understand how everything falls together. Because when you're just doing your drawing, you just think that's the main thing. But you start looking into the GI aspect, the structures, and it just starts all to come together, and it starts to make sense what the end goal of the project is.
And what would you say is your favourite part of, what have you most enjoyed about the course?
Oh, I can't say that. Can't say that.
Sean, is there a particular area that you've most enjoyed?
I would say the work-based learning, because that's that's the place where I've actually had the opportunity to be an engineer and carry out design at work. So that's been my favourite place.
Perfect. And Sean, what do you hope to do once you've completed this graduate apprenticeship and you've actually got your BEng degree?
My plan is to continue working in a design consultant, but as an engineer, and my ultimate goal is to be a chartered civil engineer and to continue my progression in my career. That's ultimately why I done this degree, so that I could progress in my career.
Yeah, and you need to have the degree in order to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And Alanah, what are your plans? I know it's too early in your career, but what's your ultimate goal?
Well, I think I'm going to go for an Eng Tech before I finish this degree, and then hopefully work towards an iEng or maybe go for a Masters. I don't know. I know Amy as a company will support me in that sense.
And you have quite a lot of other apprentices from your company as well that are on the course, don't you?
We did before they got 2 paid across to bear when we lost the self-help contract.
Yeah, well, they're still in your class. Yeah. And I think just kind of finally, I think we'd be interested to hear, we'll start again with you, Sean. What advice would you give to anyone that is thinking of doing what you did and going back to university after a while out of education and thinking about doing a graduate apprenticeship? What advice would you give them?
What advice? I would say go for it. I say it's a great opportunity. It beats trying to do it on a part-time basis where you maybe have to pay for the course. It is intense, but as long as you're committed and you manage your time well and keep on top of your studies, you'll be fine. You will get there, and it'll benefit your current employment so much, and you'll be a bigger asset to the company at the end of it as well.
Perfect. And Alanah, what advice would you give to anyone that's thinking of entering the industry and applying for a job as a graduate apprentice?
Do it. Don't be intimidated for when you go into interviews. It is quite scary. I remember I was going up a 26-year-old. When I walked in, she was doing her HND, and I was like, don't think I've got this, but I'll give it a go. And here I am. And I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. You're a complete asset to the company. And if you want to move on afterwards, you can. You've got the training to go with it within the company and your degree itself. And you're not getting into student debt like some of my friends are.
Yeah, we say you earn what you learn. That's the kind of the phrase that we like to say. So I think that's all that I have to ask you at the minute. So we'll look at closing off this chat. I'm just going to post the link here. So if anyone watching is interested in finding out more about apprenticeships at Edinburgh Napier University, you can find them on more information on this link here. Or if you have any specific questions, you can contact me and my colleagues on this email address. And you can contact us regarding all of the apprenticeships that we've got on offer through the School of Engineering and Built Environment, the Business School, and the School of Computing. So I will just put that. So I'd just like to thank you, Sean and Alanah, for your time today. That was very useful. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you on campus soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.